Harry is just a damn figurehead at the Invictus Games. Time and time again, I see Invictus Games as a means of making money for myself. Welcome everyone to my channel. How is your day today? I hope everything is good. As you all know, the Invictus Games came into being in the UK in 2012 as part of an initiative by the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, now the Prince and Princess of Wales and Prince Harry, and was inaugurated at the London 2012 Olympics. Once it was fully staffed and organized, it had its first outing as Invictus Games 2. Years later in 2014, with the Cambridges stepping aside and handing the reins to Harry. The Games had been a huge success, until Harry married a ghastly woman who has overshadowed all his accomplishments and tries every time she appears to take the focus away from the veterans and Harry by making speeches about a subject she has no knowledge of and marching with them when she has no right to, all the while inappropriately dressed. The legacy of Harry's Invictus Games will be that he should never have let his ghastly wife anywhere near it. No one will forget Meghan Markle marching in front of vets, wearing the most inappropriate outfit one could think of. Even Betty Grable wouldn't have been so crass as to wear shorts. Anyone watching that video in the future would be asking who the hell is that and why is she there? What a legacy! In fact, Harry has not only officially left the royal family after last year's shenanigans, but with me again, marching in front of the wounded soldiers. Wearing scruffy shorts and flip-flops was excruciating beyond belief. I could barely believe my eyes. Apparently, she showed up late, nattering on about having to do stuff with her children, like the star of the show. It had absolutely nothing to do with her, the same way in which her massive ego has nothing to do with either the soldiers or anything that she had ever experienced in life. Harry, of course, would have known all of this, but instead of pulling her aside and putting a stop to the shocking behavior, went along with it. We all know that Harry had played a massive part in the conception of the Invictus Games, but that was as a member of the royal family, with all of the protocols. No way could this kind of shit show be allowed again. When Harry hung up his cloak of royalty and crossed the oceans, he left all of this behind. You cannot pick and choose the bits you want to keep. He couldn't even keep his civility with his family, choosing to trash them as much as was humanly possible. It's not something you come back from. For Harry, the games are over! While Meghan positioning herself smack in front of wounded veterans, marching as if she served in the military, and shamelessly seeking out the cameras while wearing that appalling outfit absolutely blew my mind. What part of that was supposed to be a good idea? How can the Invictus Games tolerate such brazen behavior from a fame and fortune-seeking narcissist who doesn't do one demon thing for that charity? I am 100 in support of the concept behind Invictus. However, it's one thing to have a warm and fuzzy idea, but quite another mountain of work to bring it to reality. Does Invictus Games not have any leadership? At least one person who recognizes the mockery Meghan is making of them? Are they scared of bringing Harry's brat to task about the inappropriate actions of his wife? Judging from Meghan's latest eye-scorching charade, Invictus Games is leaderless. I can only hope that their spending of Invictus money on themselves will be heavily scrutinized by the IRS and the British version of the IRS. I can only hope that they were made to repay the Invictus Charitable Foundation all of the money they've stolen from our veterans from around the world. I truly doubt that Invictus was truly Harry's idea, even if it was. It was the monarchy and D. Taft that put it all together for him. It was as if the monarchy said he needed something to do. Something to put his face to. I was extremely surprised that he was allowed to continue as the front man when he left the royal family. Have to say, that was a huge mistake by the monarchy. Gigantic mistake on their part. Sadly, not only are worldwide veterans suffering, the British citizens initially paid for the games, as did citizens from around the globe. As an American citizen, I don't understand, one, how this was allowed to happen, and two, how it was allowed to continue unabated. Finally. What was Meghan doing leading a parade of wounded warriors? 4. Exactly how much money have Harry and Meghan donated to this cause? Or do they think they were not required, as a show of support, to donate some of their personal funds? That simply showing up and clapping their donation? Certainly, I wanted to donate another penny to this once wonderful and necessary cause that is now a tainted organization due to Meghan and Harry's demands for the most expensive means of travel, housing, clothing, food, security, etc. Most, if not all, is paid for by the donations to the Invictus Foundation. Donations from working suckers like me, people who care about our military and their families from around the world. Remember, it was a monarchy setup, not Harry, but like everything with them, all others are discluded. It truly was a horrible thing they did, and I did not expect Harry to be such a scumbag. Anyone who thinks people are just picking on them can Google the couple with the games and will clearly see what the duo does that brings out hate. That actress basically took over Harry's role and gave ridiculous speeches that included herself over and over. Anyone that wants to know what a narcissist is, again, just good anything. She also lies like no one in the universe. Crazy! They live in their own world, refusing to follow rules. Unfortunately, when it was a charity, people didn't appreciate the demands they insisted on. To be involved in a charity and expect to get royal treatment is disgusting. But it is what they are now famous for. They showed up and used the event as an excuse to film Harry acting like an injured vet while injured vets stood by and watched him perform for the cameras. His wife stood around posing for the camera team they brought with them. Once again, Invictus was a personal PR scam for the Sussex pair to take the spotlight. They use Invictus to charge a fortune to attend as hosts, stay in luxury hotels, provide gazillions of dollars of costume changes for the never-served day in her life in the U.S. services, and dance around half-naked as the hostess nobody invited or wanted. That can keep happening, and the international wounded vets have taken up a petition to ban Harry and Meghan from any involvement in any Invictus games. The grifters want to give up their cash cow easily, so they need to be cut off now before the German 2024 games begin, and the 2025 Canadian games can be run by Canadians, not an ex-Brit who never spends a minute in harm's way, and an American showgirl who only served on yachts for wealthy sex clients. Back in 2020, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau cut off security on the Markles once they stepped down as a royal couple. There wasn't a reason for Canada to have to pay for the two when they stepped back from the monarchy. It was argued that since they were an internationally known duo, they deserved it. But the Canadian government stated once outside the royal family, security was the Duke's responsibility. Over the years, Royal Canadian Mounted Police said taxpayers had to pay over $300,000 in 4 years for their intermittent visits. While they were engaged, Prince Harry would make secret visits to Markle at her Canadian home, which cost over $50,000. And the amounts go on and add to the taxpayers' pockets. There's also the issue of the opinions of the Canadian public. 73 of polled insisted taxpayers should not pay for their security. They added the duo is not there on behalf of the Queen. They left. They wanted financial freedom. They said it on their own, evidenced by the news, interviews, and books. It's like a job. Once you quit, you lose the perks. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching our video, and I want to know what you think about these issues. Please express your opinion in the comments below. Hope you will always be cheerful and happy. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye, and see you again in the next videos.